So there was an article that was put out in the Korean news, and it absolutely is devastating. Now, this is the English translation. So the original's here in Korean. I did actually go through with this. I had my good friend, the Dr. Alaric. You guys are not familiar. The guy, we interviewed. You've seen him in the Tozi interview as well. He was the one that, Asma Gold makes fun of how he holds, or was it somebody makes fun of how he holds the cup? I've seen people talking about, the guy how he holds the cup. I forget who it was who said that. But anyways, the Dr. Alaric, he also, looked at the translation here. So I'm going to give you guys make sure it's accurate because this is obviously some, machine translation, but it tends to do a pretty good job. The problem is, so this is really bad. Okay. This article that is, once again, let me just make it clear here. It is originally a Korean article. This is the original language, right? We're translating this into English. So this is extremely bad for Johnny Somali. Remember, in the interview with Channel A, he went out and said that Korea is a colony of the United States, right? That was probably the dumbest thing that he could ever say. Because once again, you're triggering a lot of things here, right? You're literally triggering both a nationalism and a nationalist sentiment, right? So you're going to that appeal. And then beyond that, you're showing a lack of remorse. So he's not showing that he's sorry. And at this point, it's really too late for him to come back and do that because it's already clear that he's not sorry, right? That he's not sorry pretty much at all. So in case you guys didn't see it, I'll play the video again because I want you guys to see it. Now, of course, I have this. You can go on my channel. It's part of my videos, Somali Talks Tough, but runs from Tiny Korean Girl. You can see exactly what he says here. And this because it hit the Korean news in a double sort of way, it's absolutely going to kill him. Let's play this.
Do you admit the charges? Is there anything you want to say? Do you admit the charges? Don't you want to apologize?
I love North.
So saying I love North Korea. Also, the word he said, there's one word they beeped. Apparently it was suck my expletive. So I'm not going to say it. I'm actually trying to curse less. So trying to be a good boy in the algorithm because usually I'm a bad boy in the algorithm. But that's also what he said that they beeped out. So because that reporter ended up talking about what he said a little bit more in another somewhere separately. So that interaction led to this article. So if he didn't do that, he wouldn't get this guy on him. Now he's got Professor So Kyun-dok, who says, I haven't come to my senses yet. So this really means he is super mad. We need to set a good example with strong punishment, which means we need to send him to jail for a long time. That is not what I am saying. That's what a professor is saying that has strong connections in Korea. As American YouTuber, Johnny Somali, they use YouTuber broadly. They don't understand. Let me just be very clear here. A lot of people in Korea do not understand. So the older generation, let me put it this way, especially the older generation, they don't differentiate between YouTube and Twitch and Kick. So they use that, they're using YouTuber as a general streamer. So even if you're a Twitch streamer, they might call you a YouTuber, and that's that's how they understand it, right? So interpret YouTuber as content creator. Just read it the same way, okay? It's not like, and it's not, honestly, I can't blame them for not following every new platform. I mean, like, who the hell even knows what party is until Johnny Somali was on it? I didn't know what that was. I didn't even know that was a platform, right? Frankly, I didn't even follow Kick very closely at all until I started following these nuisance streamers, and I was wondering what platform they were on, and it turned out to be Kick, mostly, for the most part. All right, let's continue with this article, and this is kryptonite. So, as American YouTuber Johnny Somali, who has engaged in bizarre behavior such as kissing the Statue of Peace, continues to be late to court and with frowning remarks. What that means is he makes he says bad things. Okay, so he's saying nasty things. Professor So Kyung-dok of Sungshin Women's University has urged that the professor is a guy. We must set an example with strong punishment. This means like we need the max sentence on this guy. So, a lot of people try to make it out to seem like I'm the only guy who's pushing for this and like it's just me and maybe like Atozi or a couple other people in the West. It's not. You've got people inside Korea that also want him to be put away for a long time. This isn't just a few people on the internet. This is millions of people that are hoping he gets the maximum punishment. Professor So made the demand on his social media today, the 10th, saying after the first trial, he still hasn't come to his senses, such as spouting the outrageous remark, Korea is a colony of the United States, to the press. It actually sometimes gets translated, because it's Asia, they sometimes translate colony as vassal state. If you guys understand what a vassal state is, it's sort of like a colony. It was originally the Chinese way of having a colony. They didn't come in and they didn't do it the British style. They would just make you kind of pay tribute, so you're like a vassal, you pay tribute to your bigger power. And they send the treasure fleet out and the treasure fleet gets all the gifts from the vassals and brings it back. So it's a different system, but it essentially means colony, right? Yeah, it's a tributary. Exactly. So the word can sometimes be similar, and they use them kind of interchangeably. So Professor So criticized Somali's attitude, saying Somali tried to enter the courtroom wearing a red hat with the phrase "Make America Great Again, MAGA," which is a slogan of U.S. President Trump's presidential campaign, but was stopped due to regulations, meaning you can't wear a hat. So he was told twice to take it off. In particular, he continued to display inappropriate behavior, such as smiling and making tongue-in-cheek pose. So the tongue-in-cheek, that actually means sticking his tongue out. So that's what he did to me and Atozi twice. And he did it right directly. Frankly, he was looking at me like in the eyes. Like of all the people in the courtroom, I triggered him the most. It's unambiguous. So he was doing that. Now I actually did email another article that said this. It said towards an acquaintance sitting in the courtroom. So I said, I messaged this article and I said, hey, just real quick, I'm not an acquaintance, I'm an opponent. But the way that translates, it's just like, it doesn't really mean like we're bros. It means like someone he saw that he recognized. Right? So that word acquaintance there, that's not a great translation. He continued, I haven't come to my senses yet, meaning he's still mad. This time, we need to set a good example by giving strong punishment, not a slap on the wrist. And he raised his voice. So this is the exact same sentiment we have. So people in Korea are having the exact same sentiment that we're having here, which is a slap on the wrist is not appropriate. What Somali wants is a slap on the wrist, right? But that's neither here nor there. Let's see. He added, it's because they not only kissed the statue, but insulted the history of the Republic of Korea by showing the rising sun flag and shouting, it's not Dokdo, it's Takashima, which is the Japanese name for Dokdo, which is a island, which is historically been Korean. It is claimed by Korea. Korea controls it now, right? Japan has some like tenuous claim on it. It's not a very strong claim. But obviously Johnny wants to play on those divisive geopolitical things. He does things to be divisive. I've said it before. The MAGA hat is not because he's MAGA. He's not. He just wants to be divisive and make people angry. Professor So concluded his writing by emphasizing, I just hope that a proper final ruling is made on the incident so that something like this never happens again in Korea. Let me read that one more time. I hope a proper final ruling is made so that something like this never happens in Korea. That is exactly what we want to see. This professor is saying exactly what we're saying, exactly what we're all saying. We're completely in sync here. This needs to be a preventative medicine for all other nuisance streamers. Because as we're going to show you today, I called this 3 weeks ago when I saw this guy DBR. I said, he's queuing himself up to be the next Somali. And we're going to see in a video later, he wants to be the next Somali. He's literally calls himself the next Somali. And this guy, if he's allowed off, is going to be an example for an entire generation of streamers. It's going to be a serious problem. So that's why it needs to go one way and not the other. And it's not just because of that. It's because there's a spree of crimes, right? It's not just one crime. And in fact, a lot of people have asked, why isn't he charged for the Comfort Woman statue? Well, that typically is just a fine, right? Because typically crimes against property in general, if you're looking at world law, not just Korea, I'm talking about the world comparatively, typically crimes against people are treated more seriously and punished more seriously than crimes against property. Particularly if it's just a crime against property where no person was injured. The penalty tends to be less under the law. Now, they're going to change that law, it appears, regarding this. However, that's not what he's charged with. He's charged with multiple counts of being causing serious problems in public against people, disturbing people, annoying people, harassing people, obstructing businesses, creating a scene. He shut down a concert. He shut down a ride at Lotteland. He threatened to literally, and I can't say the word, he threatened to have a gang sexual assault of a particular, of someone. It was really ridiculous. So, he's caused all these problems. And he's threatened a lot of people with indirect or direct harm. And he's harmed businesses and been extraordinarily disruptive, rude, and he's been disgusting and sexual around children. The last part says, obstruction of business. The trial of Johnny Somali was brought to court and scheduled for 11:10 on the 7th, but due to his lateness, it began an hour later at 11:10. It was supposed to start at 10:10. Somali is accused of interfering with business by playing music loudly and spilling cup ramen on a table in a convenience store in Mapo last year. Also, what they don't include is the fish, as well as disrupting the bus and subway with twerking. And dancing and all sorts of other harassing behavior.